Good morning, everyone. This is going to be an early one, having to catch a plane today. But please share this message today because it's vitally important that you understand what is going on. Yesterday, the governor of the Reserve Bank, the good governor, came out and said how he was so concerned at the pain that you and I and most Australians are feeling. Of course, what he failed to mention was that it is his hand that is striking the child to inflict the pain it is. The response from the governor is, of course, that, and I'll pardon the pun, but take this to the bank. According to Capital Economics, we are due for not one, but two cash rate increases. More than likely, the first one will hit us next Tuesday when the board of the Reserve Bank, these guys who would not know what an electricity bill is, these guys who live in their multi-million-dollar mansions, I wonder if they would be willing to do what they're asking most Australians to do and rent out rooms in their multi-million-dollar mansions to people out there because they are incapable of running this country economically. Now, let me just say this. I don't understand for the life of me why the governor, let's call him the good governor, Governor Philip Rowe, who kind of looks like an albino Mr. Bean to me, but anyway, I digress. Why doesn't the governor address the policies of his mates in government? Firstly, let me address one, the housing and population crisis. Albanese wants to bring in another, 400,000 migrants to a country that already has a shortage in housing. Does anyone know what that means? Number two, why doesn't the governor address the issue of the climate cult that is causing our energy bills to go through the roof? Number three, why doesn't the good governor address the issue of the multiplied millions of dollars to be spent on The Voice when we've already got voices? Number four, why doesn't the good governor address the issue of our productivity, which is at a 20-year low? Let me tell you what that means. And by the way, next Wednesday, we're going to be dealing with more of this with our special guest, Peter Schiff. Let me just say this. That means people are not producing. That means people want more money, but they want their days off. They want their hours curtailed. They don't want to show up. Our productivity is at 20-year low. We are a nation of bludgers. And I know that sounds very general, but that's what we're becoming. Addicted to handouts. That's why during the pandemic, they could appease us all by putting the bread and the circus out there. Keep the sport, keep the cricket, keep the rugby. I'll get to the rugby league in a minute. Keep that open and hand out cash. Just hand it out. Just print more money. And who's going to pay for it? You do. Because the only money the government really has is either yours or borrowed. And Albanese has an agenda to make us a nation of renters. A nation of renters. It is unbelievable what is happening here. The governor ought to resign. Put us out of our misery. Stop playing the game. And if you're telling me that they are not in cahoots with the government, I tell you what, I'll fly to the moon, folks. Seriously. This governor is so out of touch. He wouldn't know what an electricity price is. He doesn't have a mortgage. You got a mortgage. All the tax benefits he gets that you don't get. It is absurd. It is absurd. And you watch next Tuesday, and if I'm wrong, I'll apologize. I'll say, hey, I got it wrong. But according to Capital Economics, we're in for two hidings again. But no one's addressing the issue of GST. No one is addressing government overspending. No one is addressing the billions and billions and billions that are given to this. No, look, I don't want to go there because I'm going to offend people. Our population our population growing 2%. We're going to get immigrants. Where are we going to put these people? Oh, that's right. You fired people because they wouldn't follow your mandates. Now you're bringing in people from overseas to take our jobs. That's what you're doing, Albo. And that's what the Governor of the Reserve Bank is not calling out. You're supposed to be representing the people of Australia, but you're not. You are not. If anything, you are the inflictor of the pain. Inflation is up 6.8%, 0.5% more than what was scheduled. So the tactics of raising up mortgages is not working. It's not working. What is it doing for productivity? Nothing. What is it doing for the morale of the country? Nothing. What is it doing for the spirit of the nation? Nothing. What is it doing to increase our influence in the global economy? I am so over them blaming Russia and the Ukraine. They were pushing this nonsense way before that came along. And by the way, they were pushing us to go and borrow money that we couldn't afford. And here's the problem. This is the problem, folks. And please hear me. We've got no one to blame for ourselves. Because let me say this. I want to say this, and I need you to hear me clearly. We are financially ignorant as a nation. When is the last time many of us sat down and got a financial education? So what you do is I don't get rich quick scheme, blah, 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 blah. Well, how's what they're doing working for you, sunshine? It's not. The best thing we could do is get educated. And guess what? That's exactly what they don't want you to do. Are they telling you to go and get a side hustle? Are they taking you to go and make strategic investments outside of the bankster system? Bankster, as I call them? No, they're not. What are they saying? I'll go rent a room out. So you've got to get some stranger living in your house, putting your kids at risk, while these fat cats sit in their multi-million-dollar mansions making decisions when they wouldn't know what a power bill is, when they don't feel the pain of an interest hike because they don't have mortgages. So what do? They built 35% of the people to carry the 100% of the people. No mention of GST. None. None. No mention of taking away from dole bludgers and the overindulge. And I'm going to go there right now. I'm going to and hear me out. Here, don't listen to what I'm not saying. The NDIS system is full of rorts. But no one dares address it. The amount of money we're spending on the indigenous population, they're full of rorts. No one wants to address it. Am I saying we shouldn't support disability? Absolutely not. We must and we should. We should always support people that cannot work, but we should never support people that will not work. This country is addicted to handouts. And I'll tell you what, we are now the recipients. So who gets punished? The entrepreneur. The owner. Then, if you're an owner, you become the enemy because you're a landlord of the person who's renting. Let me just assure you, most landlords don't want to put up their rent to punish you. They have to put up the rent to pay for the house that you live in. So don't blame the landlord. It's not the landlord. Blame it at Albanese's evil leftist agenda. What are we doing? Sending billions to the Ukraine. What are we doing to our industry? Crippling in our industry, shutting down working plants, coal mining plants. The nation is suffering. Get the people to work. Oh, that's right. You don't want them to work. You want them under control. You want them to own nothing and be happy. Well, let me assure you, most people that own nothing turn to crime. Check it out. Check your facts out. I worked with troubled teens my whole life, and the parents, that's what happens. Positive economic fiscal policy doesn't lead to crime. Well, it does, to blue-collar crime, so hear me out. But where are the most terrible crimes? In impoverished suburbs. And that's what they want. Now let's get back to the state of oranges. I'm wearing my blue, but that's not what I want to talk about. It's not whether go the blues or go the maroons. What the heck was up with that welcome to country last night? And Elder Earl gets up and says, we need to have a conversation. Let me assure you, it's not a conversation. A conversation has to go two ways. This is a dictate. This is a causing you to make a choice and then condemning you if you dare to think. There's no conversation here. Where's the Warren Mundine's conversation? We're not hearing that. Why aren't we hearing Jacinta Price? We're not hearing a two-way conversation, Elder Earl. We're not. And shame on the NRL and the AFL for using a sport for political nonsense. I'm against racism in every form. Now, here's the problem that we need to be aware. Recognition of the original custodians of the land is very different to what Albanese is pushing. This is not recognition. This is creating voices, unelected voices, to tell elected government and the body of Australians what to do, how to do it. By the way, Elder Earl, I don't need to be welcome in my own country. And half these churches, I'm going to go there, that last weekend on Pentecost Sunday had their welcome to country while relegating Pentecost Sunday to the back blocks. Let me remind you that Pentecost Sunday was the birthing of the church. Welcome to country. I thought those buildings that people's tithes and offerings pay for were dedicated to the glory of God and redeemed. That means, listen to me, bought back. That's the meaning of the word redemption. So last night, we had to endure, as you do on any time you get on a plane, I am over being welcomed to my own country. I'm over it. I don't need it. I don't need divisiveness. This is divisive. A conversation, to be a conversation of communication, needs two things. Number one, voices to be heard. All voices. Emphasis, being heard. You are not hearing willfully. They want you to vote on a referendum. Then we're going to give you the details. That's like telling me that you buy a product, just buy it, and then we'll tell you what it does. No. There's not one advertisement on TV that works like that. It is ludicrous. Do you know why? They're not telling you what's in it. They don't want you to know. And number two, they haven't been told what should be in it. Let's get to the bottom of it. They're not telling you because, one, they don't know, and two, they have not been told what this unelected body of elites, not the people of Alice Springs, not the people that are living on the land up there. No. A bunch of people in Gucci suits, Pearson and the lot of them. So let's have this a fair conversation, equal time, equal budgeting, equal advertising costs, equal disclosure and transparency. That's a conversation. There is no conversation. It's a dictate, and if you don't comply, they're going to vilify you, they're going to ridicule you, they're going to call you a racist. I'm not racist. Look at the colour of my skin, folks. I'm an immigrant son that when he came here, he kissed the ground. And I'm grateful for this country. So where's my recognition? Where are my people's recognition? Italians did a lot for this country. So did the Greeks and the Lebanese. Where's our recognition? Where's our recognition for what we've done? Oh, that's right. We don't count. Albanese is doing this because it's all about him. This is all he talks about. He's not talking about fiscal policy. I mean, the guy couldn't even remember the cash rate during the election. Do you know why they don't know? Because they don't have to deal with what you and I deal with. Anyway, someone put in the chat, Pat, are you saying that democracy's dead? Basically, yeah. You're living under socialism. Get it through your heads, folks. You're living under socialism and they're coming for you. They're coming for your kids. They're coming for your property. They're coming for you. Now, you better be prepared. Next Wednesday, I have a very special guest, Peter Schiff, one of the most brilliant minds, an advisor to former presidential, he ran for the presidency, Ron Paul. If you want to come along and learn and listen what's going on globally in the banks, good. If you don't, that's okay. Stay ignorant of what's going on. You don't need to. This guy's a freedom fighter. And some of the stuff he's going to share on the Zoom is absolutely powerful. Now, of course, we can't put it on this platform and we can't put it on any of the other platforms. So I'll put a link here in the chat. If you would like to be part of it, it's already gone through the roof. We only have spots for about 1,000 people. I think 700 spots are gone already. And of course, we're doing our marketing for all that. So if you'd like to be part of it. Also, this Sunday, I'm starting a series called This Means War. And it's not about a physical war, so don't misread it, what I'm saying, although it is a bit of a physical war. But what's really going on and how we can win. That's this Sunday, 8 a.m. on Facebook and all our platforms. Please go to our social media platforms, YouTube, etc. Like, subscribe, click on the notifications, folks. If you don't click on that notifications, you don't get notified of when we're doing messages, whether it's on this platform or any of the others. The big tech is making sure of that. So, hey, let's get behind what we're trying to do here and trying to say, and let's help people out. This platform is for all Australians. We are all hurting, and sadly, the elites never hurt. They don't feel your pain. They don't feel it. And quite frankly, they don't care. All right, thanks for tuning in, folks. Can you please share this message, and we'll see you on Sunday and, of course, next week.